Alright, so for this replay we're going to be looking at ixSnarf on Thresh. Watch this once already. You guys get a pretty big win. There were a few things that you could have done differently, but this is honestly this is like the type of game that I like to review. Um, it's like my second favorite. My favorite is a close loss. This is a win where you do a lot of things well and have a really high impact. So I'm going to be able to say what you did well and what you could have changed. So starting off, you go E first, which is good. Your build looks really good. Typically what I like to do is if I'm on a support that has a heal, I'll take 2 mana potions. If I'm on a support that doesn't, I'll take 1 mana potion. But I always get a mana potion unless I'm on, say, like Kennen or something. And then I think Relic Shield is a better start than Coin. The only reason that I think Coin is viable is when I don't feel like CSing. So, definitely the right start here. You get the first 2 melees. I don't know if that was something you do every game or by coincidence, but that's exactly what you want to do. You can either get one from the first wave and then one from the second wave, or you take the first 2. And then what that does is it gets you on track to be able to get every cannon that follows. But at this point, there's not a whole lot that you can do, at least not at level 1. Level 2, you guys hit a power spike and you don't really use it. So, I mean, you were shoved, so it's not like there was much that you could have done. But, you know, when you see that your XP is getting high like this and you're going to be hitting 2, you step up, and that's good, but you sort of turn around. And you like dance around here in this bush for a little bit. You hit 2 as you're walking away. Yeah, see, so you've turned and left, and you're level 2. You canceled an auto or whatever, which was fine. But like, had you canceled the auto and gone up to here, or maybe around this minion to this side, you could have gone for a hook. For some reason, their veins started W, so definitely an easier target to hit. So had you walked up to say here instead of stepping back, you may have been able to go for a play at level 1. Probably still would have been pretty difficult, but it's there and you want to be looking for that. So whenever you have the opportunity to do something with the power spike, definitely look for it at the very least. You end up going for it here, which that's what you wanted to do. Just didn't end up hitting, so that's fine. And then your Caitlyn ends up getting like wrecked by their level 2, which really sucks. It was just sort of unlucky. You make a great save here. There's no reason that that should have happened, but the way that you played it was absolutely perfect. Unfortunately, I think their Thresh ends up hooking your Caitlyn or just runs her down. Yeah. So, Thresh gets first blood. We'll look at your play here because I remember it being pretty nice. Maybe an exhaust on Thresh would have saved your AD carry, but I don't know. So, I see what you're going for here, and it was really nice. You tried to bait the Vayne in and get like the turret thing. What I would have done here, you flash away. I don't know if you're in range, but I probably would have taken a step back and exhausted her. You flash away, which is the safe play, but had you stepped back exhausted, she probably would have. So if you exhaust before she autos, her auto attack's going to be slow, and she's not going to be prepared for it, so she's probably going to try and auto you, and then cancel it and try and run away. So you could have blown both of her summoners for one of yours, which and maybe killed her. What you end up doing is you blow 1 for 1, flash for heal, which isn't bad. Like, you made a really nice play here, but it may have worked out better had you drop the exhaust on her. I don't think she would have been able to kill you because of the exhaust, but had she killed you with it, it probably would have been 1-for-1. But I mean, you played it well. Like, you didn't do anything poorly, just a little. You could have been a little bit more aggressive. And that's the way that I like to play. Like, one kill on you isn't big. Like, if it had been 1-for-1, not the best, right? But there's potential for you to get a kill and her not to. And I like to play really aggressively when I'm support. Um, just because if I'm not going to carry, nobody else will, potentially. That's not to say that everybody in solo queue is bad, but you know there's the potential that uh, nobody else is going to help you, so you need to set yourself up as best as you can. So this right here is a really nice play. Unfortunately, you missed that hook, but luckily their Thresh misses the hook also. But that's really nice. The aggression is there. Like this is the right idea. You see it's a 1v2 and you want to be stepping up and zoning them away. You showed a little early. I mean, he warded it, but what I may have done is hooked him here. You go for the fillet first, which is fine. Like I said, like had you hit that hook, maybe it would have been a it may have been a kill. It may have actually turned into a pretty bad fight because Vayne's got uh, an extra sword. But you may have been able to get Thresh and then get out. This is a very nice hook. The exhaust, a little unnecessary, especially since you're against another Thresh, right? And they're going to be able to lantern you in. But fine, mostly because a big problem that I see with my students is like they're really conservative with summoner spells, especially like exhaust and ignite. You know, they'll blow a flash for no reason, but if it's an exhaust or ignite, they hold on to it because a lot of times I see people try and save ignite for like a guaranteed kill or exhaust for like a all-in 2v2. You don't necessarily have to do that. Your exhaust was good, especially if they'd had a different support. Like if Thresh couldn't just lantern the Vayne away. Even though you may not have had kill pressure, you would have been able to do significant damage and poke her out of lane. So it's not always bad to use a summoner to like shove out of lane like that. Unfortunately, you guys weren't able to get that much damage down, but in theory, it's not bad. Probably could have hooked the Vayne when she stepped on that trap and gone for a kill, but whatever. I think you guys get a double pretty soon. Like you make a play. Nice dodge. So just sort of like a general game. I'm sorry for that noise. I live like right by the street, and I've got my windows closed, but some people have really not good cars here. So at this point, this is more general game knowledge and like preparing for the future. But what I would be looking at is who's doing well, who's doing poorly, and who's worth like protecting for peeling, who's worth using CC on their team. So at this point, nobody's really standing out from their team. Their Yasuo is building the jungle item for some reason, which I just saw. Is he No, he's not jungle. Is he going devour? I don't know what he's doing. He's probably gonna be worthless. Jace is The reason I brought up Yasuo first is because he has the most farm on their team, by the way. Um, very nice hook. I think this is where you guys get your kills. Yeah, very nice. Very, very nice. But like I said, Yasuo is farming pretty well. That's why I brought him up first. But their Yasuo is pretty irrelevant. He's going to be pretty irrelevant because of his build. Um, their Kha'Zix is a pretty big threat right now. Your Shaco's a pretty good threat. Neither of them have really good farm, but they've both executed at least one successful gank. Kha'Zix has one, Shaco has two. Your Yasuo is 0-1-1, so I'm assuming one of the Shaco ganks was mid. So he might be okay. He's close in farm, but he's down in a mirror matchup. I'd imagine their Yasuo is clearing jungle a little bit with his jungle item. Top lane, your top laner was 2-1, and theirs was 1-2. But it's important to take a look at farm. Also, your top laner had like 15 when theirs had like 30 something. So even though Fiora's got kills, she is not farming well. Also, she has ignite and not teleport, so that's important to note. And this is a time period that I like to look at these things. I mean, obviously, when you're loading in, you want to take a general look, but this is like, excuse me, one of the earlier checks. So you want to sort of audit your team constantly and see who's valuable and who who is going to be able to carry the game. And it's important to do it over time because you're going to see who's actually having an impact and who's sort of getting carried, right? So I'd say that late game, if your Fiora is strong, she had a really weak landing phase. I mean, she got kills, but she's really underfarmed. She took Ignite into a teleport. I'm assuming this is blind, but yeah, it has to be blind. Or Team Builder. I think they put mirrors in Team Builder. I'm not sure. But regardless, your Fiora, not the strongest player, just based off of the farm. So um, I wouldn't worry too much about peeling for her, but she does have a couple of kills. Your biggest person that you're gonna want to be peeling for is Caitlyn. Um, she's 1-1-0, most farm in the game, tied with their Yasuo. Um, their biggest threat is either the Kha'Zix or the Vayne. Um, and it really is important to check constantly and see who's doing well and who's like high impact and stuff because you want to know, like I said, who's worth defending. And you want to check periodically because people can have sort of inflated scores even when they're being pretty useless. So uh, you got your Targons and your Sightstone. Personally, I like to get Targon's first back and then Targon's first, Sightstone second. You were able to get it all in one back, but had you only been able to get one, I would suggest Targon's because it gives you much more gold income, more sustain, because you get 100 health per minute as opposed to 40, because you get 2 stacks a minute with Targon's, they each heal 50, whereas with the relic you get 1 stack a minute that heals for 40. So it like time and a half your gold income or something because not every minion's a cannon, but it does increase your income, it increases your sustain, and um, overall it's just a really good thing to upgrade early. Um, and especially on blue side, I feel like warding uh, isn't as urgent. I'm not saying don't ward, but like rushing a Sightstone isn't necessary every game. That being said, what their Thresh is doing is pretty bad. He's rushing straight for a talisman. Um, and he's not getting that much more gold income or sustain, and he is delaying his vision by too much, in my opinion. So again, your Fiora gets a kill, but it's important to note it's off of a gank. That's a really nice hook, really nice flayed. Their Vayne suicided, she definitely could have escaped, but that double kill was all you. Caitlyn hit some autos. But again, as I was saying, the Fiora got another kill, but it's important it came from a Shaco gank. So Shaco's probably one of the big carries in this game, but you just got your AD carry a double kill, so she's also going to be a big carry. There, Yasuo's 1-3, so he's getting dunked even though he had that early lead. Your Yasuo's 0-2, pretty useless. You're definitely going to want to be focusing on... Oh, 0-3 now. You're definitely going to want to be focusing on your Caitlyn. She's up 20 farm. And soon to be 4 kills, probably. She died. So we'll look at why she died. Oh, she has 2 BF swords. Holy shit. Okay, that's awful. I want to say that she's your carry, but her build's really bad. So you guys were getting invaded. She got picked. Oh well. This is a really nice play. You almost get the Kazakhs. You're really good at baiting people under the tower. Oh shoot, I have to select you again. Very nice. I see what you're going for, like, every time on that. And it's okay that it doesn't always work. But you give it a go. It's really important. So your build so far is, like, perfect. If I were you, I'd probably get Zeke's next. Because your Caitlyn is pretty fed. You have a Yasuo and a Shaco who could both, and a Fiora. Honestly, everyone on your team could use Zeke's. Typically, you want to leave it like on your AD carry, but yeah, Zeke's would be a really strong item in this game. Let's see. It increases crit chance, by the way, if you don't know what it does. Oh, the minion. You guys get Thresh. Probably gonna go 1 for 1. Could go 2 for 1, but Caitlyn walked away. Okay, that's cool. So yeah, I would definitely suggest getting. Very nice. I definitely suggest getting a Zeke's at this point. I think you're gonna get like a locket, if I remember correctly. Oh, you upgrade your facing mountain. That's fine. I don't like to get it this early. I just don't think it's that great of like a first item, non-sightstone Moby's item. Just because, I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it because it doesn't increase the gold income, and like the shield's nice, but it's not super great. Very nice hook and fillet. Watch this again. Is your Yasuo there? No. That's unfortunate because you got like you knocked up 4 people. If your Yasuo had been there, that would have been beautiful. But regardless, very nice play. Curious about that face of the mountain, but Maybe you thought you had a different item and you activated it. I don't know. You've been holding onto this pink for a while and haven't used it. I'd like to see you drop that somewhere. Also, your ward positioning is a little off. I think you said that you're interested in my warding seminar, so I'm not going to go like super in depth on warding. If you don't end up taking it, we can do another lesson and talk about vision, but at this point you guys have a huge lead. Their Vayne got stomped. Your Shaco's really big, Caitlyn's really big. Your Yasuos are about equally as useless. There's really no way for you to lose this game unless you throw, and you don't do that. You went for the flash hook. Didn't work out, but you tried it. You're sitting on a lot of relic shield stacks, and I know that once you transition into the mid game, it's harder to use them. But you also only have 22 CS, and you've gotten a good bit of that recently. Like, you got the face of the mountain, you got the early Targons. Think you probably could have used a little bit more stats. So you guys get sort of swept there. I don't like the Randuin's buy. It's not too bad because they're all melee, and I'm gonna assume that's why you did it. And in this situation, that makes it okay, but it shouldn't be a core item for Thresh. A better item probably would have been Zeke's, especially since you guys are so far ahead. Like, when I'm really far ahead like this, I really like to push my lead for my carries. So, grabbing Zeke's or a Mikhail's or a Banner of Command or something that doesn't necessarily benefit you as much, but is more team oriented, is a pretty good bet. Face of the Mountain, right? Like these are items that you want to get when you have such a strong lead. But that is about it for this lesson. We'll talk more about build, things to work on. Warding, positioning was a little strange. You had pretty good lane phase, but it could use improvement. Pretty decent game. I mean, you guys won pretty handily. When I first watched it, I felt like it was a little closer, but you guys just pulled away. So yeah, we'll talk about this in a little bit.